The story begins in the vast, arid expanses of Africa's Kalahari Desert, where we are introduced to Dr. Andrew and his wife, both of whom are stationed at a Christian missionary. Dr. Andrew is a compassionate doctor, and his wife dedicates her time to teaching local children. However, one of Andrew's surgeries has recently failed, and his patient tragically passes away, leaving him deeply saddened and consumed by guilt. As he contemplates this failure, a local man rushes into the clinic, warning Andrew and his wife that militant groups have entered the area. These groups have been targeting American missionaries and foreign workers. The man informs them that the militants are already aware of their presence and could arrive at any moment. Andrew immediately realizes the danger and rushes to his wife, urging her to leave with him for their safety. However, she is reluctant. She feels deeply connected to the local community and doesn't want to abandon the people she has been helping. She believes that they are making a difference, but Andrew knows that staying would likely mean death. After some emotional back and forth, she agrees. They bid farewell to the people they've been helping and set off for the airport. The airport is a small, desolate outpost in the middle of the desert. There, they find a small plane, but the pilot is initially unwilling to take them. He's already overbooked with other passengers. Andrew, desperate to escape, offers him extra money, and eventually the pilot agrees to take them on board, on the condition that they leave their luggage behind, promising that it will be sent later. As they prepare for takeoff, there is a delay in getting clearance from the local authorities. The pilot bribes an official, and soon they are airborne. Besides Andrew and his wife, there are 5 other passengers on board, including a colleague of Andrew's who had helped them reach the airport. They are heading toward a larger airport from which they can catch a flight back home. Everything seems fine until the plane begins flying over the vast desert and turbulence hits. At first, the pilot reassures everyone, telling them that this is routine, but moments later, disaster strikes. The engine catches fire. The plane spirals out of control, and within moments, they crash in the middle of the desert. One of the female passengers dies in the crash, and her husband is devastated. Andrew's wife is severely injured, her leg trapped in the wreckage. As they assess the damage, the pilot informs them that the situation is dire. They've crashed in one of the most dangerous regions of the desert, a place teeming with deadly wildlife. Even though they're not sure where they are, the wild animals certainly know they're here, and as soon as night falls, they'll become prey. Realizing this, the group agrees they must move quickly. The pilot mentions a village about 20 kilometers away, but Andrew's wife is in no condition to walk. Her leg injury is too severe, and moving her could worsen it. Andrew decides to stay behind with her, while the others venture toward the village for help, promising to return with aid. Before they leave, they bury the dead woman to prevent animals from scavenging her body. The group discusses which direction to head in. One man argues that they should go southeast as the village lies in that direction, but the pilot disagrees, saying they should head southwest. The pilot also reveals that he has a gun and insists that anyone who wants to survive should follow him. Reluctantly, the rest of the group agrees to go with him. After hours of trekking through the relentless heat, they are exhausted and parched. They share the last of their water and spot a large rock formation in the distance. The pilot believes that the village lies on the other side of the rocks. They climb to the top with great effort, only to be met with the sight of more endless desert stretching to the horizon. There is no village in sight. Frustration mounts, and the man who initially suggested going southeast grabs the pilot's gun and blames him for leading them in the wrong direction. He declares he will go southeast on his own. The rest of the group, however, decides to return to the plane, believing it to be their only safe haven. Back at the crash site, they find a horrifying scene. Andrew and his wife are gone, and there are signs of a struggle. Blood is everywhere, and the plane is covered in lion tracks. It's clear that a lion attacked them. The group is terrified, knowing the lion could return at any moment. Suddenly, Andrew reappears, enraged. He blames the pilot for the crash, accusing him of greed. Andrew reveals that the pilot had overloaded the plane with personal cargo, including valuable animal horns and trophies. These extra items caused the engine to fail, leading to the crash and, ultimately, his wife's death. Blinded by grief and rage, Andrew attacks the pilot, intending to kill him. Just then, one of the remaining passengers fires a flare gun, forcing Andrew to stop. They all soon discover that the pilot has been smuggling valuable animal parts, which is illegal and dangerous. While Andrew buries his wife's remains, he expresses regret, feeling he should have tried harder to save her. His friend reassures him, telling him that no one could have saved her from the lion. It was her destiny. As night falls, the lions start to growl in the distance. The pilot says that 3 people can fit into the plane's intact cockpit, but since there are 4 of them left, they decide to draw straws. One young man loses and is left to stay outside by the fire to keep watch. As the hours pass, the pilot checks on him and finds him asleep. The fire is nearly out, and the pilot warns him that if the fire goes out completely, the lions will attack. Meanwhile, the man who went southeast finds himself in deep trouble. He hears the lions all around him and fires his gun several times in panic. Back at the crash site, the group hears the shots and realizes that the lions have likely killed him. The pilot, Andrew, and the remaining passenger huddle together inside the cockpit, terrified. The young man outside falls asleep again, and the fire dies completely. Soon, the lions surround the plane, growling menacingly. Andrew attempts to rescue the young man, but barely manages to shut the cockpit door before a lion gets inside. However, a snake has already made its way into the cockpit and bites Andrew's companion. As a doctor, Andrew quickly acts to stop the venom from spreading, cutting the wound and draining the poison. The group survives the night, but they are weak and broken. At dawn, Andrew has reached the end of his strength. His wife is dead, and many of his friends have perished. He refuses to go any further, telling the others to leave him behind. The pilot and the remaining man continue toward the village, though they are both injured and exhausted. As they walk, they spot a vehicle in the distance and their spirits lift. However, the vehicle belongs to the very militant group they were fleeing. The militants quickly recognize Andrew as one of the missionaries and accuse him of exploiting their land. They prepare to kill him, but the pilot steps in, confessing that the contraband on the plane belongs to him, not Andrew. Despite the pilot's confession, the militants shoot Andrew's African friend, leaving only Andrew and the pilot alive. Tension mounts as the militants hold them at gunpoint, but the pilot seizes a chance to attack, managing to kill both militants. In the struggle, Andrew is injured, but the pilot refuses to leave him behind. He supports Andrew as they make their way toward a large rock formation in the distance. At the top of the rocks, they finally spot the village. They had been close to safety all along, but their poor navigation had led them in the wrong direction. However, lions still stalk them, attracted by the scent of blood. Knowing that Andrew cannot go on, the pilot makes a fateful decision. He smears Andrew's blood on his own body to distract the lions and runs off, sacrificing himself so Andrew can live. Andrew, barely conscious, stumbles toward the village but collapses. As hyenas approach to finish him off, a sudden lightning strike scares them away. In the rain that follows, Andrew sees a vision of his wife, as if she has come to guide him to peace. Moments later, two villagers find him and carry him to safety. Andrew survives, but he is the sole survivor of a harrowing ordeal. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more exciting content.